Hello everyone and welcome. I think a lot of you have probably noticed by now that I'm not quite uploading as I normally do. The general schedule's been very slow and very limited, and I just want to quickly explain why that has been the case. Nothing bad has happened. Everything's okay. Everything's alright. It's just been a simple case of, you know, real life getting in the way. Just a lot of problems kind of occurring. Very simple problems, but problems nonetheless, which then kind of take away from my time. And overall, I've not really been having the time to focus on videos as much as I'd like to, as much as I normally do. So that's the short version. I just don't have enough time. I'm trying to work on it, and I promise to improve on it as soon as I can. Now, for the longer version, so it basically begun, I'd say about a month and a half ago now, something like that. So, for the record, I host a lot of ARK servers. I'm now hosting 6 individual servers, which get quite a fair bit of popularity, so it's in my best interest to keep them up and running, nice, smooth and stable for the people playing. And about a month and a half ago, I got a really unlucky period where the servers just kept on having severe issues. We're talking things like rollbacks, crashes, lag, players using data, players using, you know, access to their things. A lot of the time, it was more often than not just the servers not turning on. And it is bad problems, and the worst thing about them is that they simply take a long time to fix. There's no way of rushing it, there's nothing that I can do faster or better. It simply takes time. Now, it's a weird position because the fact that I take time is fine, except it's like just a window enough of time where I can't commit to any other activities. It's not like I can make a creation in the background. I have to keep on checking, and also therefore my focus isn't there, so I can't focus on a creation or a recording or whatever because I'm constantly looking back and forth. So whenever we had these server issues that were weirdly frequent for about, I'd say about 2-3 weeks, where it just kept on occurring, including weekends, it was nightmarish. During that period of time, I just couldn't focus on work. That's fine though. Normally what I do is I then, you know, work up for it, I make up for it on the weekends, or I make up for it in the evenings. Neither of those were an option either, because basically what had been happening was that every single time we'd have like a severe issue, the issues in the worst cases would normally last about up to 2 days of just monitoring. In those cases, as you can imagine, I'm pretty freaking stressed. I'm really exhausted. When it's done, I just want to relax. And that's what I'd ended up doing. So for about 3 weeks, it was just back and forth. Problems, relax. Problems, relax. Problems, relax. And another thing to know about me is that my sleeping pattern is difficult. I try my absolute hardest to wake up the normal, modern, traditional sleeping patterns, like, you know, 8 in the morning, go to bed at a reasonable time. But I am one of those night owls people, you know. It doesn't matter if I am sleep deprived. As soon as it hits midnight, I am wide awake, full of energy, full of, you know, all that good stuff, motivated, etc. So, on top of like all these server issues and having to wait around and not sleeping properly and all that kind of stuff, by the time, you know, things calm down, my sleeping pattern completely wrecked and I can't work properly and all that kind of stuff. So that is the cause of everything. By the time the servers finally stabilised somewhat, people were all a bit fed up, which is very reasonable and understandable. People got fed up because they couldn't play the game. Around that time, things were also getting a bit slow and old and whatever, so Kev and I wanted to reinvigorate things with making a modded server. We now have 2 of the modded servers, and they have honestly been some of the most fun I've ever had in ARK. And by the way, don't worry, this video isn't just about ARK, it's about a lot of things, but these modded servers came out. It's been incredibly fun. I've recorded pretty much everything. So that was about another solid 2-3 weeks just playing ARK, finally giving myself a bit of a holiday, because I've not had a holiday since summer last year. I don't take breaks, I just work and work. And, well, you know, like, I have a bit of fun in between, of course. But, so I finally decided to give myself that long-deserved break, and I just played ARK with my friends, with my patrons. That's all I did, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. But what's happened is that I've fallen really behind on a few things, and I have a lot of recordings. I have about 1.5 terabytes of recording. I'm talking well over 80 hours of footage, at least. It's been a while since I last checked, but even as of recording this now, we are still playing and I'm still recording more and more. So that's a lot of recordings to go through. That's going to take an extraordinarily long time to get through. And of course, there's a lot of storage being taken up, which is actually creating a bit of a weird issue I've never had before. And that is a lack of storage. What's happening at the moment is, because I've got so much light recording there, I am juggling between trying to actually get through it, trying to edit and render it, which takes a very, very long time. And of course, you know, recording other things, but it's kind of hard to record the other things when I have so little storage space there left in the process. So I can't bulk record like I normally do. I'm forced to recording, you know, like sessions at a time. I can't have a big recording session like I normally do, as that takes up, you know, quite a fair amount of storage space. So now I'm kind of pumping videos out at the last minute, which isn't the most efficient, but it is kind of working for a while. So again, that's another factor that's kind of making things all a bit tight and all over the place. After the massive Modded Mayhem session, which is still kind of ongoing now, we started getting even more server problems, which again adds to the stress, adds to the mucked up sleeping pattern, adds to everything. And one big thing that's happening here is whenever the server issues happen during the day, that is time I'm also not live streaming. So as you can imagine, if I'm not live streaming properly throughout the week, I'm gonna feel really bad. I'm gonna want to try and make it up. And when I do that, when I do spend some time live streaming, doing what I want to do to have fun and to enjoy it, I am then, you know, not creating further videos, and again, it gets pushed back. It's really hard to find which thing to prioritize when, you know, all my priorities are all over the place. Everything I want to do, I can't because I don't have enough time. Furthermore, on top of all of that, because of the consistent server issues, and like I mentioned earlier, I can't focus on things when I'm monitoring a server. My commissions were getting pushed back as well, which I felt terrible for. People are paying me for a service and I'm not fulfilling that, so a couple of days into that, I then just wrote off everything, no videos, no streaming. I finished those commissions, which has, again, while great on that aspect, has then been pushing videos ahead, or pushing them behind. You've probably seen I've been releasing a lot of ZBrush videos instead of Spore. It is for that very reason, because I'm running out of time to make the Spore videos. I'm running out of focus, time, motivation. But I had the ZBrush videos available, so I shared them instead. And then again, like somewhere along the mix will be even more server bloody issues. It's just non-stop at the moment. Not streaming enough, so again, alright then, one day I should probably make a video, but instead I'll stream it because I just want to stream. It's very, very relaxing for me and very engaging. So yeah, you can see like the general theme that's going on here. Everything's so squashed and all over the place. And what happens in terms of Spore creations is that, let's face it guys, I've been playing Spore for 10 years now. 10 solid years of playing the same game. I do get bored. I get bored a lot and frequently. It's fine though, I'm perfectly fine with it, but the point is that burnout does happen. Now, this burnout's been very different. It's actually been kind of artificially forced by all these issues, because what's been happening lately is every time I make a creation, I feel rushed. I feel really rushed and really forced. Weekly requests being the biggest thing, and it's actually why I stopped doing them for a while. It's because where I'm struggling to prioritize the right activities and the right schedule throughout the days, well, I'm really struggling with that. On top of the, you know, mess up sleeping pattern, all these constant interruptions, all these other things going on. Where all that's happening, my creations are just getting really, really forced, and I'm feeling very disconnected from them. Now, when it comes to my creations, I'm already trying to do the things that I think you will like. Not necessarily what I want to make, but what I think you will like the most. Again, that's completely fine. I'm more than happy to do it this way. But it just does show that there's a bit of a lack of a connection, a bit of lack of, you know, any personal feelings towards a creation. I make it, I ship it off, I'm done, you know? So again, when I'm running out of time and I feel forced to rush at the end of it, I start to hate them. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want that to be the case, but that's just been the unfortunate process that's happened over the last 2 months that I've come to realise over the last couple of days. I've come to the realisation just yesterday after talking about it with Kev, and realised that we're having a bit of a problem here. We really are having a problem, especially as shown. The uploading schedule's been all over the place. Now, what's worth bearing in mind is that throughout just this entire mess of schedule, is none of that takes into account any actual real life things, any social things, such as, you know, spending time with Kev, spending time with my friends, with my Patreons, all these things that of course, you know, take precedence. It doesn't take into account any activities for myself. You know, sometimes there are days where I just need to do what I want. And sometimes what I want to do, it could just be like just watching videos or just drawing something, you know, not necessarily a video, but just draw. It's all little things like that that I've been struggling to, you know, do properly. And of course Extinction, I've kind of forgot about that, but Extinction kind of just got awkwardly thrown into the mix somewhere. The last Extinction episode I did, I was just about to begin Titan taming. I've since been doing a bit of progress on it, which kind of got lost among the server issues and modded mayhem. So I am trying to get back into Extinction, but it's very, very tricky because I left on such a rocky end. The Titan taming, it turns out, is bloody horrible and I hate it. Don't worry, it'll be fun in the video. But turns out it's really, really just frustrating to do. Not hard, by the way, just frustrating. So I've been struggling to get the time to do that on top of, you know, my evenings have to be free. I can't record during the evenings, I can't record during the weekends. I shouldn't be recording at 5 in the morning like I am right now. Actually, it's 6:30 in the morning. I shouldn't be doing this, but it's just all over the place. I blame Structure Sparse for me being up this late. Another thing that I did forget to mention is that a few days ago we did buy myself a new SSD. So we moved all of our current software onto the new SSD and used the old one to launch Arc with, which, by the way, completely worth it, no regrets. But the process is that, or the result is that we had to reinstall absolutely all of my software. Now, that's perfectly fine. It takes time, sure, but that was completely fine. Except that Spore alone, my god, what a finally experienced the issues that all of you guys have with it. It's absolutely insane. Spore alone took longer just to launch stably, just to prevent it from crashing. It took longer to fix that than it did to install Windows, install a bunch of software, and even install a couple of games. That was just to get Spore running, never even, you know, not even thinking about the DLCs and the mods as well. So you can understand why I've got a little bit more resentment to Spore than usual right now. On top of that, because everything had been reinstalled, I did lose all my YouTube music, which really, really sucked. I had tons of royalty-free or paid-for music all gone, which might be why the audio lately has been a bit repetitive. I do apologise, but, you know, again, I'm kind of struggling to get the time to get all the right music back, on top of more, of course. And it also slows down the whole video making process when little things like this one singular file, say an overlay or an intro clip or whatever, my templates can't immediately find it, so I've got to like manually re-find everything, even remake a few things because the files have been lost or missing or whatever. And it's just been really all over the place and it's massively delayed things. And thus again, that will then contribute to the whole, you know, using up my time to fix one problem and then not having enough time to, you know, deal with the other things. It's just, again, like a really vicious cycle. And so, yeah, it's just all over the place. That's basically the TLDR that we can go here. Like I said at the very, very beginning of this video, in the last, how did I ramble for 12 minutes? Bloody hell, that went fast. Like I said at the very beginning, everything is fine. I am perfectly okay. I'm a bit stressed, but I always am. I'm always stressed. That's why I like to do things like streaming. It really takes the edge off. That's why I do these activities like, you know, playing on a modded server. It really, you know, makes a lot of fun out of things. And I'm perfectly okay with it. It's just, like I said guys, things have gone into a bit of a awkward mess in terms of timing, in terms of scheduling. And it comes down to the fact that I'm trying to do so many different things at the same time. I'm trying to please so many different people that I just kind of stretch myself thin. And then when it comes to some things that I need to do, like the Spore creations, I kind of just crash and burn. I don't mean to leave that as my, you know, last priority. It definitely is and should be a lot higher up. But the reason why things like Spore creations have been suffering is because they're the things that I require the most focus on. I require the most focus, the most motivation, all that kind of stuff. And then of course, you know, other content like Scypho, like Species, like Thrive, which I've been saying I'd do for bloody years now and I still haven't done it. It's all over the place. But, like I said at the beginning, these are things I am trying to deal with. I am trying to find the right solution. What I need to do more than anything else is get through that massive backlog of recordings I have. It just takes time, which is really, really frustrating because I cannot speed up the process. But that is what I need to do. The sooner I get through the Arc recording, which by the way, just a casual plug here, they are available to patrons early, so that's an entire season of Arc that you can get early right now. I need to get through going through that, so that way I can get back into session recording, bulk recording like I did before, get everything done in advance, and then things kind of finally fall into place. Right now I'm in the do everything at the last minute mentality, which I do not want to be in, and has happened by accident. So that is the big ugly rant about it. I hope that made some sense, and I hope it explained a few things. Normally I'm not really into making these kind of videos, but communication is very important to me, and when the stupid bloody YouTube community posts never reach everyone, I have to make a video. Plus it just sounds better in voice, doesn't it? It's better than it is in text. So guys, I hope you understand. Like I said, please don't worry about it, don't worry about anything, I really am fine. I just need to figure things out. And I will intend to do so as soon as I can. So, thank you for listening. I'll get on it. And as always, I will catch you all next time. Cheers.